following is a presentation of MRE Uno, Division 1.
Apocalyptic August continues here for T5 of the 2025 MRE Uno tournament. As on an early Friday morning, we enter into the zombie region for what is truly going to be a duel of masters. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the first of multiple streams they'll be running here today as we present to you Nam versus Chomik. Now, most of the time, we'll end up having matchups where individuals haven't played each other for a while, have never played each other. These two know each other very, very well, especially going back to March Madness in 2024. We rekindle this old rivalry here on the home stretch towards Super League in the final tournament of this year. These two, it's amazing that 4 tournaments so far here in 2025, and the records are extremely similar. As we look here at the two of them side by side, 4-4 currently in these past 4 tournaments. The records overall very similar, 24-26 for Nam, 22-27 on the other side for Chomik. You look at where they finished here in this tournament 1 year ago, 23rd and 22nd. Things are super, super close between these two, and you can see there for Chomik as well, ranked 29th, so going to be a crucial game for him. For both of these individuals, it's a must-win. If they end up getting eliminated here today, their Super League hopes are dashed. Chomik has an opportunity here to potentially make his way into a Super League round, but both of them, their percentages are down around the 25%, even if they advance here in this one. They got to make a pretty deep run here in T5. While these two have similar records coming in, they do it by different routes. We look first here at the season recap for Nam, 4-4, but he's been kind of up and down. He was unable to get out of the round of 64 back in T1 and T3, but in the even tournaments, he was able to advance as high as the round of 16, eventually in T2, eliminated by G-Man, who would go on to win that tournament. Some notable victories for him during that run, including against Captain and Yepes. On the other side for Chomik, 4-4 record for him as well. Started out really well back in March Madness, advanced up into the round of 8, was eventually eliminated by Ashley, who would place second in that tournament. But in the last 3 tournaments, T2 to T4, he's not been able to advance outside of the round of 32. For both of these individuals here today, it is a must-win to be able to keep their hopes alive of advancing into Super League. And for one of them, they will get ready to head from the Scorched 64 into the Toxic 32, where 4-seed Albion waits in the wings after taking a 4-2 victory over Zach Armstrong. You see up there at the top, Toaster Guy had the bye. He now will be facing off against Sean Art, who was able to sweep Ghost in an 8 versus 9 seed. They will be playing in Toxic 32 at a later date here in the Zombie region. And as mentioned, we've got 3 games that will be streamed here today, this being the first of them, as we also have later on this evening in the Bunker region. Actually, the Bunker region has 2 games here today. KT being taking on Andreas Allen, a 4 versus 13 seed, and then primetime 9 p.m. it will be William Brock taking on Clay Wolf. We're going to head down here to the main table. We'll start getting some preliminary stuff underway here. Rune is our acting referee here this morning. I'm Seth Cole alongside of DJ Curtis, and I don't know, DJ, they say better the devil you know than the devil you don't, but in this case, I mean, do we have to change things up and show some different reads since Nam and Chomik have quite a storied past?
Yeah, hell, even the you might have a devil may cry at that, Ray. When I wanted to pull the obligatory reference there, but yeah, it'd be interesting though because when you play the same person, you should have a familiarity. I'd hope, right? You'd have a decent blueprint on how their play style is, so you probably will have to adjust accordingly. But sometimes you might have to play a little bit of the mind games here. Sometimes you might play the same and then change it up as you go. We'll just kind of see how this matchup really pans out. And obviously, both of them are in the VC, so we'll have to whip up the questions in the chat so they can both answer efficiently and to their best of their knowledge. And we'll just see how this game goes. Should be a fun one.
Yep, we will. We'll be doing that here. We'll try and keep things as simple as possible here to be able to get this this series rolling along here. As you mentioned, both Nam and Chomik not in the voice chat, so they will have their questions typed out and they will be responding accordingly. So while we get those going on here, I mean, you talk about the similarities of the records coming into this one. I don't know too terribly much about both of these individuals. Haven't seen much of their play style, but one has to wonder, with the similarities in the records, not only just in what has happened so far here throughout the tournaments, but overall in 2025, are we going to see similarities in playstyle? Like, do we end up seeing them start around the same region? Do we end up seeing a huge difference where maybe one likes to start low, one likes to start high tier? It'll be interesting to see what the similarities and the contrasts are going to be between these two.
Yeah, and I think they'll sniff each other out, right? Like you said, maybe you might see someone start with low, someone with a high, and then again they'll just adjust accordingly. I think this first few rounds they'll just figure things out, kind of just see things early. And I think as we get towards the latter half, I think that's when we're going to start seeing the sparks kind of fly the most.
Yeah, I'll pop in for a sec, Chance. Going to try to give you a lowdown before I head out. Basically, Seth, if you're Nam and Chomik, here's how it goes. They played twice in their career. Nam won the first battle back in March 5-2. Then Chomik won the group stage Super League 4-2. It's a rubber match. If you're looking for Nam, you're looking for massive runs. Obviously, in racing terms, the big draft. That's Nam. He can win from 8-9 deep. You give him an 8-9 card run, he'll like to build it up and get the win. For Chomik, he's got the split ammo. Ironically, him, Allen, and a couple other players play a really good split ammo. But with this bot, we've seen so many different metas. We've seen similar numbers. We've seen poker hands. We've seen recently, we saw, I believe yesterday and a couple days ago, we had a game where only people drew back 4 times. Come on, a self-draw. It's 2-2. It's insane, but it seems to be a lot more aggression in T5 than, let's say, the other tours, because this is the last chance. Playoff on the line. Obviously, Nam top 30, Chomik, or not necessarily Chomik top 30 in the league. Nam about 34th, 35th, right around there. Really can't say it's a playoff implication where they're in the hunt for either player because they're both quad 3. But if they do win, and when one does win, it's going to be an opportunity because Albion is in the hunt. And you look at that top half of the region, obviously Art is guard, right, quad 4. But he just got a big win over Ghost. Toaster Guy's quad 1. This is probably the most intriguing region, the zombie region, because there is a lot of familiar friends in a sense. Nam Chomik, Albion knows either one. Art, he's been around the block. Toaster Guy plays that insane style of just get a crack like an egg noodle. Should be a good one. I think these two, it's going to come down to can Nam split the ammo right? Can he control his Chomik split ammo? And for Chomik, can he control Nam's massive runs? And to do that, does he figure out, what? Plan B. Maybe split ammo isn't going to work. Maybe I have to go with the Caesar 1-2 jab. It's going to be a fascinating one. These guys always play electric. I don't expect anything lower than 9 on the card start. If I had to guess, Nam is a guy that he'll keep it upper tier. Chomik is a guy that you give him any snip of 14, 15, 13. That's all he rides. So there's the lowdown. That gives you guys a little point. I'll be here for a little bit. But hope that helps, for sure.
Yeah, and,
Good DJ.
and while we've got you here, KT, just see if you can elaborate on something for me here as well. Obviously, love looking over the pregame notes, the preview that you end up putting together here for all of these matchups. And one thing that I saw you mention in relation to Chomik, one key word that I kind of zeroed in on was composure. Has there been some situations in the past where Chomik's gotten a little rattled by some of the strategies of Nam, and what are some of the things he can do to kind of fix that?
Well, in the regular season, the thing is he got routed the first time they played because it was a Sweet 16. These guys were rookies, right? They were just coming into this league fresh. Now with a lot more experience, and the one time Chomik beat Nam, there was no power play, group stage best of 6, which is, let's face it, it's group stage. You don't need a winner in those all the time. It can just be ties. Ask DJ, he's been there. This is going to be an interesting game because composure will matter. However, I don't think either player was not in this is rare that they're both not in VC too. That's a little different on a stream. Usually you have one of them at least. Those guys are active. This is going to be interesting. He's got his family there watching. That's pretty insane. Well, even real life Uno watch party. So this will be a good game. I think the key though for Nam and Cham, but more Cham, he can't be flustered by those massive runs. Just because Nam's got a big run doesn't mean he'll always finish. But if he does go out there and gets a 6 or 7 bagger to start, let's say game 1 or 2 at home, I'm curious how Chomik is going to respond. We've never seen Chomik ever this low as a 12 seed. The last time you got to go back to him being that low was his rookie year. I think we just put him somewhere. And that's where we had trouble putting everyone because we had so many rookies coming. But at the end of the day, Seth, it's do or die. We're not going to see one of these guys back running it back from Super League last year. We've seen a lot of big names. JT went 0-5. I mean, who would have had Jesse Turner, the Super League runner-up? Tago hasn't been anywhere. These guys, we've seen a lot of struggles with the 2024 Super Leaguers this year, and it's unfortunate, but at the same time, the league is getting better, and a lot of guys that have been at the back have improved. So you have to develop and create more of an arsenal pack, more than just strategy A and B. You have to go through A to Z, and then composure-wise, A through Z. It's only getting harder. 27 medals or 27 people have 1 medal or more. 43 people have 100-plus starts. These guys have over 100 starts. We're looking at over 250 starts plus on the table set, maybe 300, close to 300 combined. Combined medals of 2. Obviously, Chom is still looking for his first, but he's been to Final Four. So this is going to be an electric game. I think this is a big day in the store. So you got massive names like that's the old username. Chomik, Nam, myself, Allen. You got Brock Clay. This is going to be a massive day. A lot of playoff implications. And I'm looking forward to seeing how these two will start it off at 10 o'clock.
Absolutely. So we ended up just finding out that Chomik's, or I'm sorry, that Nam's family is watching. So shout out to them. Appreciate tuning into the stream. So I basically asked the exact same question to both Nam and Chomik, with them both playing each other in the past. Do they have to change things up? Chomik says that we ride with the waves, hope we don't crash. Sad to be put up against my homie in round 1 in a dubious situation for us both. It is heartbreaking. Yeah, unfortunately, only one can move on. One will be eliminated at the end of this one. Nam says, think it'll be a game of who can adapt to the other the fastest. Probably won't be plan A unless the cards go one way, so the game will evolve over the series. And like Chomik says, go with the flow. And also came in on that heartbreaking comment saying most important part of Uno is to have fun, so hopefully it will be a good game. Chomik would reply, every game is a fun game when you're playing and he says this isn't March, so we are well into 2025 here in Apocalyptic August, so it will be interesting to see how this one plays out. Again, for those that have never tuned into this type of a game, here in the early stages of T5, it is a best of 7, with being the highest seed. Nam will get the first 2 home games, Chomik the next 2, and then we go 1 apiece, with Nam having the final homestand if we go into a final game 7. These players will have 1 power place apiece that they can use, whether offensively or defensively, so it'll be interesting to see if we get into the later stages when that gets utilized. And Nam will have the first call here to begin this series. As mentioned, Rune is our acting referee. He is currently in the process of acting Nam what he wants to kick this thing off with. And DJ, we're getting ready to get this thing going here. Two individuals who know each other so well. You could obviously see there with the comments, tremendous respect for each other. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Should be a fun game indeed. Starting off with a card set of 12. So pretty good card count to start. Pretty fun one to start. Starting off with a green 6.
Well, that's what I'm saying, Seth, real quick. I'll hop in for like 15 minutes. Don't expect anything lower than 9 in the card start. These guys love upper tier, really ready to fly. I'd be shocked if we see anything lower than 9. Nam does like the 9 card, but Chomik, upper tier, high fly, 13 through 15. He'll run it as much as he can. Usually game 2 of his homestand, he loves his 14-pack special. It could change that he's on the road, but usually game 2, that's one thing to keep in mind. For Nam, he's taking his time here, so that can mean 2 things. A little adapted pace, because remember, we talked about pace management, it's kind of dead. Now with these two, off the start, we have seen people take their time on the first turn. Why? Because it's playoff situation, and that makes things a little bit interesting, to say the least.
Immediate light switch there from Nam off the green 6 into yellow. And with what you said there, if we on both sides end up having those upper mid tier to high tier starts, we of course are putting ourselves in the conversation for a lot of ammunition to maybe be used at the back end of these games. Nam immediately iced out in yellow. That's interesting, especially with the fact that he made the swap over to yellow. He'll get bailed out there though, as Chomik will bring it back to the original color of green.
A little bit of a check here. Yeah, knowing that he's probably already isolated at yellow, we're already switching back to the money color of green. And just going to follow through with it, though. That draw, though, pretty early indicator.
Here we go, Seth. This is that split ammo I was talking. There's that 1-2. This is what Chomik's known for. By the way, green 8 Chomik on the card, of course. Now on the blue 4. If you see the base comment as this Chomik's card, keep that in mind. But right now, if you're Nam, I wouldn't panic. It's still early. Chomik is a guy that's short split ammo as we go to blue. Go through every progression. We're still waiting on that Pandora to open on a red as we continue to roll as we go into Andy. There goes Dom with this. There we go. Fires right back.
Little answer back there. So a +2 for a +2. That's going to, in effect, almost even things up here. Chomik still with the 1 card advantage, however. And he'll just put it 1 down there with the Nam's blue 4.
Yeah, just kind of waiting to see. Immediate color switch to a red, though, so getting closer and closer to opening up full-on Pandora's box, but now should be red 9. Yeah, they're just going to keep rolling with some numbers here with red 9, then a red 2 followed up. So I think they're trying to get rid of the colors early on, but back to blue here.
Back and forth we go here, Seth. Absolutely. DJ's right. We're still early into that, but even though we didn't hit Pandora, we're still early, and they're trying to avoid it because one of them could be hiding a +2, and then our colors. Nam is choose for now.
Chomik down to 4 cards here. We talk about that red zone area, and usually when we end up having those higher tier starts, that's around when we start to look for a potential run to the finish. Nam, though, brings it over to red. Great play, gonna ice out Chomik, at least for the time being, try and see if he can draw back even.
Oh, this is a risk.
Good break for Chomik.
Humongous risk, Seth, because that's what I'm saying. Nam likes to say this could be it. Unbelievable.
Wow. Opened
what a twist.
The door, and Nam says, thank you very much. I'll step right through.
That's reverse skip meta, Seth. That's the old classic, one of the first metas we developed with the bot. How about that? We had what is that?
That's a quad skip. Yeah.
No red or green. No red, and that's what it is. You make that last break over, you can sometimes save it. You can ask a question. I got to head out now, but really damn good game. That's everything you want. Chomik played a little split, made a gamble to go to green. I think we're going to have to ask him, did he get beat to the punch? Because did he have something in green, or was it a case of he thought, okay, let's go to a new color, play a +2, and then play it from there? That's probably going to be the question I would ask for him. For Nam, that was excellent. Just excellent control, right? Not rushing it. And that basically red 6 switch. he was just biding his time. He wouldn't have won the game if Chomik had kept in the colors. So definitely a fatal switch that gives Nam the upper edge here in game one. All right, boys, you got it from here. Keep it
All
up.
right, sounds good. Thank you, KT. Appreciate your insight here in this one. As we'll get the questions in here to both Nam and Chomik. Yeah, interesting one there too, because if we look in terms of ammunition, yes, we had that quad skip there at the end by Nam, but prior to that, the only ammo cards we saw was a +2 on either side, kind of a little check on each side there in the middle of this game.
I just could not. It's crazy to think about that quad play. I just could not believe that skip, all those 4 skips all at once. Holy cow! What a start! Only little under a 3.5 minute game. Chomik says he had no answer to that. I mean, can you blame him? No, I don't think I really could. But wow, that was an amazing start from Nam. We gotta see if Chomik can step up to the occasion, step to the plate. And KT mentioned a bit of the nerves, right? But I mean, I think it's just unlucky with the color switches, though. I think the ammunition was pretty good. Just kind of a little bit of the essence of death of 1,000 pieces, right? Of 1,000 cuts. I think they did pretty good with that. It's just I don't think really Chomik could have done much.
No, we're seeing right here green reverse, yellow +2, and blue 5. Some good cards there, but unfortunately, there's just nothing to connect them together to be able to have a finish. Whereas in the case there for Nam was able to hold on to that quad skip there, and you kind of look at that quad skip as well. Gave him a lot of options, right? He was hoping and praying for that color swap off of red. Otherwise, he would have had to draw back. He could have used one of any 3 colors there, blue, yellow, or green, and was able to get that swap over there into green. So very fortunate there for him. Yeah, nothing on the side there for Chomik, and then Nam answer says a bit tough. Tempting to use them after Chomik started taking the lead, but the +2 gave me some time to run down the red and get that chain off. That was what I asked him there was, we ended up seeing, I think at one point there, it was Chomik had 4 cards, as we mentioned in the end zone. At that time, Nam was at 8. So, the knee-jerk reaction is, I got to draw even or try and get ahead of him, and if he had played those skips, it may have been one turn too early.
Yeah, and I think it comes to show the discipline. Discipline's really a big thing with your ammunition. You got to use it real wisely, and Nam did a phenomenal job just laying back, right? The +2, like he said, gave him some rundown, gave him some leniency, which helped. I think those +2s played a huge role in setting back Chomik, and well, about to get ready to see how game 2 transpires here. Anything but 12, obviously, with Nam winning in a little under 3.5 minutes. Bro's gonna go 14.
All right, so just keeps it up there in that high tier area, keeps it evens as well. Got that first homestand victory and now looks to draw a 2-0 advantage. Chomik looking to draw one back on the road, and we'll kick things off here in blue. We ended up seeing quite a bit of light switching go on in that first game. We'll have to see if the case is here, is obviously with the obviously the higher card starts, you kind of want to whittle out those numbers as best you can before you start dipping into your ammunition.
Oh, for sure. Well, Chomik says that's my card start. ...
It's
It's like, oh, good luck.
Yeah.
Could be some
you,
mind
you
games
never
here. Either
want
that or
to
he actually
lose a game, but in this case, Chomik might want to lose this game so he can call on his typical 14 late in this. Now, I don't think he wants to lose this game, but
nah.
but hey, is that a strat though? Is that a strat? Because
I was
obvious.
I was literally just thinking that. I'm like, maybe he's just trying to psych Nam out a little bit here.
KT gave us the rundown. He said Chomik loves that 14. I guarantee you that more than likely Nam and Chomik, they could be tuned into the stream, and Nam may have heard that little pearl of wisdom and thought,
Well,
what?
Nam's got the fam watching though, so
Yeah, that's true too. So it may have been, what? Let's kind of beat Chomik at his own game here, and if he ends up winning this matchup in the early going, then he doesn't have that to call back on when he's had a homestand late in this series.
Well, speaking of a color change, we do have it swapped to red. Nam taking the initiative, going to a red 7 here. Let's see what Chomik's got in store for us. Red 9, though. Numbers game so far. We haven't really seen the action cards. I probably wouldn't expect it this early, though, especially with how much they've got. But, anything goes.
Yeah, I think it was only about maybe their 6th or 7th play where we saw those +2 checks back in the first game, and of course we didn't see the big ammunition till the end. There was some number efficiency here is Namas. He'll bring it over to the Acosta yellow 9, and looks like Chomik will run with him in yellow and the bow tie too. Waiting for green. Looks like green's going to be that Pandora's box color. Look at this. Immediate light switch back into red from Nam. This is interesting because if you kind of go back to the first game, Nam initiated the swap right out of the gate to yellow and was iced out within the next 2 plays. Here, he made the light switch over from red to yellow and then immediately brings it back to red.
Yeah, and right as you say that, Chomik goes to green, so... Whew. These color changes, man, they're getting pretty intense already off the bat.
So are we searching maybe for a weak color, or are we doing what I was talking about with these two knowing each other so well? Are we trying to throw out a different read, throw the other person off, say, hey, you think you know me, but hey, no you don't, not anymore. This is a different me in 2025. Goodness,
man. I immediately thought the Middle English song, right? You said, you think you know me?
Yeah, exactly, right?
I immediately thought that.
Expecting Adam Copeland to come running out at any minute.
Exactly. Green 5 here from Nam. Just that crazy amount of color switches early on, though. I think it's just a lot of litmus tests here to see if they can isolate one after the other here. So, but nobody's drawn so far. Everybody's just kind of rolling with it.
So far, a plan A strategy, it seems like, for the time being here is 1 down from the 5 to the 4. We go up to the top floor here in green with the 9, and then 1 down from Chomik with the base card, playing his own card there. Nam with the double play there, had double green 9s. And ices Chomik. First drawback here, pretty late in this game.
Might not be a good sign if you're Chomik, though. Let's see what Nam's got. Nam's typing a little bit here, so I think he's got a good play going on here. Some action cards.
He'll hit a trips play, brings it over to red with the double skip into the Tapir red 4. He's down to 2 cards here, and now the light switch over to yellow here by Chomik. Did he find a weak point? No, he did not, because Nam had the wild to bring it back to red. And I'm not sure if Chomik has an answer back here, unless he's got maybe a +2, because we didn't see him use any wild when he was iced out in yellow, but there's a wild. Okay, so he must have held on to it. He decided to draw when he was iced out earlier, and that will bring Nam back away from the brink of Uno.
Had to use the +4 just as a, break glass in case of emergency, and that was a great use of it there, so... Gonna stall out Nam for the time being, and Chomik's still back into it.
Yeah, number efficiency with the yellow 8 gets it back to the color that ices out Nam. And now we're gonna go into a bit of a draw city. So the defensive play, not once but twice with the +4 and the yellow 8, going to bring both of them away from the brink of maybe finishing this thing out. And now we start drawing for ammunition.
It just drags it a little bit longer here, so now we got a yellow reverse, but double play for Chomik.
So one would have to wonder if he had that reverse in reserve and then double played with a top deck draw of the yellow 1, or was it a top deck draw of the reverse? Not sure.
It might have been maybe like a top deck.
Yeah. Nam found
and
a
then
top deck
hoping
as well.
Number efficiency probably after that, maybe a color change. Because Chomik just drew, so I think that's a pretty good indicator. He's got no yellows on him left. So that's going to give Nam a little bit of a wake-up call here. Now, speaking of, there's the yellow 4, so well, actually, maybe I spoke too soon. Might have been top deck there.
Top deck there from Nam, but it almost looked like
color change here.
Chomik might have had some yellow in reserve there. Not sure, as now he'll light switch it back over into red. There's a card you're familiar with, DJ, that red 5.
Yeah. Chomik draws again, though.
Yeah,
Out of red.
Chomik
Double
was down to
play from
3.
Nam.
Ooh, that brings Nam down to 3.
It's even now, but a color switch to blue.
Oh boy.
And that stalls
Nam's
out Nam.
iced. Is there a finish here, or can Chomik at least get to check? Draw the series back 1-1. Oh,
One card left.
look at that.
And that's it.
Had the +2 connector, ends it out with the blue 8, and just like that, we're knotted up at 1 apiece. Chomik with a big win there on the road as he'll get the next 2 homestands.
And I think that really just came down to just choosing the right color. It's just a matter of you're just kind of exploring which color to change. And I think Chomik just ended up eventually finding like the gold at the end of the tunnel, really the light at the end of the tunnel in this case, and the gold at the end of the rainbow. That's what I was trying to say, but I said the wrong thing. But but Chomik chose the right color to change, and well, it worked out in his favor. It stalled out Nam at the very end.
Get the questions in here, and you can see right there Chomik saying with this win he can't call back on 14
Can't do it.
late in this game. Takes away that strategy there just a little bit.
And I think also, thinking about it now, it ties back to that +4 defensive play. That played a huge factor in just changing the trajectory of this game too, though.
Get the questions in here to both Chomik and Nam as we'll be preparing for our third matchup here in just a moment.
It's just another notion of like being disciplined, though, just being patient.
Yeah, I mean, we ended up hearing KT talk about composure between these two, not getting flustered, and so far we've definitely seen both of them have brought their A game here on both sides. It's been pretty even, especially here in the second game. Yes, there was a little bit more ammo on the other side in favor of Nam in game 1, but we've seen both a good balance of offensive and defensive plays as asked Chomik if after his +4 was flushed, where he had to keep Nam away from Uno that first time, how tough it was to change up the strategy. He said he was waiting until he got a type of connector. He could switch to blue, but he went against it, had the +2 leading to nothing, and didn't know if he had blue and not just red. So kind of had to weigh his decisions on whether to go into blue or not. And then Nam, I asked him about that 14-card start. Was that a possibility if Chomik ended up winning that took that option away from him late in the game? And he said just wanted to go up a bit, figured 14 was a good card start to take it away from Chomik. So if Chomik had won on that. So there you go. Already prior planning there in the early portions of this series for later on if we end up getting into that rubber match game 7. Rune already Johnny on the spot there as he had Chomik all dialed up with no 14 but everything else. So we're going 1 up into a full send here on his first home stand.
How fun that is. That's going to be super, super fun. Starting off here, yellow 8. And now, yeah, getting the ping. Make sure he's getting notif.
So,
let's see.
I have to wonder, obviously, opportunity there for Nam to be able to potentially take the 14-card start, which indeed that is the case, away from Chomik. We know that obviously Nam likes the higher card start, and he will, if we go into that final game 7, have the final homestand. Is this Chomik answering back saying, all right, well, if you end up winning this game, guess what? We get into that game 7, you don't get to call on the 15-card start.
Yeah, I think that might be it. Didn't want to make it any more cinematic, clearly. Nah. Well, we'll just see how much cards, in terms of the card count, how much that'll be left by then. But
yeah.
Immediately, though, Chomik went for a color change because it started off with a yellow 8. Chomik went to a blue 8, but now we're back under yellow, initiated by Nam, which, jumped off of Chomik's 3. a blue 3, change it to a yellow 3, and now we're just rolling with the color yellow here. Nom's just got a lot on him right now. Chomik's just gonna roll with it too.
Yeah, interesting there. And, could be twofold. It could have been that Chomik was maybe just trying to search around maybe for a color that Nam didn't have. Could be also he's got some fairly decent ammunition in that color. And then a lot of times too, you kind of look at your hand and you'll see those one or two outlying cards in a color and you think, I'd like to get rid of those as soon as possible. Maybe try and see if I can get myself down to a 3, maybe even a 2-color hand here, especially if I've got ammo in one of those 2 colors.
And speaking of 2 colors, we've just stuck with yellow and
Yeah.
blue here. Chomik just swapped it immediately back to blue here. And quick action card here with a blue skip. So double play here with a skip and a blue 9. So let's see what Nom's gonna respond back to. Just a little parry, a couple jabs here from
Very
Chomik.
rare that we get at least even to this portion, this deep into a game, and we call 2 colors as Pandora's box. But that appears to be the case there, as Nam is iced out in blue. Chomik will play the blue 0, very difficult to switch off of, so Nam continues to draw back.
Yep, gonna have to depend on a color change here. And speaking of, just summoned right in front of us here. I think Nam should have an answer immediately back here. And speaking of, there it is. +2 with a 1. It's going to give some extra cards for Chomik. With the double play there from Nam.
Yeah, that +2 will, in a sense, kind of negate the 2 cards he had to draw back. We'll tie things a little bit closer up between the 2 of them here, as we're going to probably run in red for a little bit before we see the eventual break into green. It'll be interesting to see for either one of them, especially for Nam with the drawback. Well, there's the answer. I was going to say, do we see a callback to blue or yellow at some point? Nam will initiate it back into yellow.
Pretty good move to do it, though. You can drain all those cards, and Chomik gets stalled out here. Has to draw out a yellow 6, though, but Nam does too. So could we see a draw city or eventually maybe a top deck? And there is a yellow 8. Right back to just the starting card, essentially. And then Nam again stalled out.
So both of them
Draw
going to go
City.
into Draw City here. Okay, so the call back into yellow stayed there for just a spell, but now currently iced out both in said color. And now does this kind of maybe take that Pandora's box of green out of play a little bit here, because we could be drawing back more blue, more red, and could maybe adhere over to those colors, trying to look for another ISO in 2 colors.
It's inevitable. Eventually, we're going to have to get the green sooner or later. I mean, what are the odds of them none of them having green in the first place?
With a full send, very rare, but
yeah, I would say it's very rare, but you never know how the odds are. I was
going to say, with all I've seen here in these series and these tournaments, it's called expect the unexpected. So I won't leave anything off the table.
And both still have their power plays in check, though. I mean, it's granted, it's still pretty early, but I feel it's still kind of that realm. You could start maybe getting aggressive with it. Maybe that round, game 3, game 4 kind of realm. You could try and get aggressive, maybe pull one out of the hat. But now they're swapping over to red, though. Let's see if they test the waters out here. Will anybody get stalled out again, or will we see some number efficiency again? We've seen in previous games and previous matchups from other opponents.
Yeah, we will more than likely be running in this color for a bit.
I bet you it's watch them change a color here again. I'd actually laugh.
Yeah. Whatever we say, they always seem to do the opposite. Oh, hold on. Maybe we're going to get a
double play, maybe even more.
The +2.
Couple of action card usage here.
And there's the swap. So the initiation over to green.
Oh
wow.
My goodness. Quad run.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Quintet. That's like 6 cards right there. 6-card run.
3. Is this a... No, okay, so he caps it off with the 9. Gets himself down to 2. Now, he did not stack the +2s. Let's bear that in mind. So it's not 6 fresh cards. It'll actually only be 4 headed in the direction of Nam. We'll see what he's going to do with those, as Chomik breaking it open into green, and there's the answer back. These are going to be stacked, so there's going to be at least 6 cards headed in the direction of Chomik.
Yep, you give me cards, I'll give you cards right back, said Nam.
Nom might be able to continue to run here.
Wow.
Oh, wow. That is a triple
Huge stack.
stacked +2 into the red wild.
And both with plenty of cards to spare. Nam with 12, Chomik with 14. I mean, they're both stacked for a while. I'll say that.
That is a 12-card draw for Chomik with the triple stacked
And they're just gonna
+2.
keep going at it. Chomik's
Yeah.
gonna pull some more punches. Triple play here. Red reverse, blue reverse, and then a blue 8.
Brings it back to blue. We haven't seen blue for a while. They were iced out in blue. They were iced out for a time in yellow, but with the drawback in yellow, they probably would have some blue now in their hands. Nam will bring it back to green with the Chomik green
Chomik might
8.
like this. I mean, when you got all these cards, the sky's the limit. So let's just see what does Chomik got here. Green 8, gonna just roll simplistic 1 here. I think they're gonna start draining the numbers again here, Seth, until they start saving up those action cards at the very end. But we just saw a litany of them just splurged out like that, just like that.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about that is too, and you know, there is the potential they don't have them, but we saw a lot of skips, a lot of reverses, a lot of +2s. What we didn't see was any wild +4s. So to your point, as we're trying to whittle these numbers down here again, were those +4s maybe in reserve for a kill shot there at the end, and we just haven't been able to step into that region yet?
Yeah, I think they're just waiting to get to that red zone area to start using those wild +4s, though. And now they're just doing crazy color swaps here, all with the 7s. Feeling lucky here for both ends.
Trip 7s into red. Chomik will go 1 down. Then Nam will bring it up 2 floors to the background red 8. Going to stay in the mid-tier region there with the DJ 5.
I'm ready for that Zootopia movie to come out.
Me too.
Dude.
I saw the trailer for that. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Oh, yeah.
I
Double play
haven't
here.
gone to see a movie in theaters in a while. I may actually go to watch that one. It looks so good.
Actually, this was a triple play.
It was.
Actually, let's see. Yeah, it was a triple play. I didn't mean to interrupt you when you were doing your
Nope, you're good.
during that, but looks like Retribution will come right back. Yellow +2 with a yellow 2 from Chomik himself. It just seems like just a game of cat and mouse, though. Both of them running low on cards. Nam with 5, Chomik with 3 here. Will Nam have anything in the hat? Will he play an action card here to maybe stop a potential run from Chomik himself? It's kind of in that dangerous territory here, and he will play defensively here with a wild 4, switches over to green. So let's see if Chomik, or really if Chomik's got any green, but I think it's a good indicator. Maybe Nam's got a lot of green left here. Might even do some fun little color switching again. We'll just see, or maybe even to stall Chomik even more here, as Chomik will get that green 6, though.
Yeah, very similar to what we saw back in Game 2, where Nam was able to flush Chomik's +4. This time, it seemed like Chomik, who was down to 3 cards, able to flush the +4 of Nam, but
And
he
how
had
about
a
that?
backup plan even after that, as a double reverse into blue to end with the M blue 6.
What if brilliant use of the wild +4, though.
Yes.
And then switching over to green, and it didn't seem like Chomik had any. I think Chomik just didn't have any action cards on him left, or even if they were probably a different color realistically, if that were the case. But what a great use of that wild +4, and then once Chomik just had that only just a number game, and Nam is just checkmate for Nam here, using those reverses brilliantly. Great use of the color change. Luckily didn't screw up having where a call out would have played in, right? But wow, that was just great. That was awesome. First game from Nam was quad skips, and then this one, just a sweeper reverses with the end with a blue 6. This has been a very fun series so far, though, Seth. I will say.
Definitely
High
has.
cards, though. In this game, they were back to where they started, and then a lot of ammunition just splurged out. Just craziness in this game 3. It hasn't been like the longest set of games, though, just because you look at the stats, right? Game 1 was only a little, like I said, a little under 3.5 minutes. The second game was just little bit shy of 7 minutes, and this one's just a little over, just literally a second over, 9.5 minutes though. So it's been, I feel like it's still been a pretty fast-paced set of games so far though, despite this game 3 being the outlier. Hell, for game 4, we might as well go to 12 minutes, because it seems like the minutes are just going up multiples of 3 here, 3, 6, and 9.
Getting the questions in here to both Nam and Chomik. Yeah, I mean, definitely, I think looking back at this game, I think that +4 that we saw, and I called it as a defensive +4, but obviously, it could have maybe been both offensive and defensive, not only able to draw Chomik back away from Uno, but also able to establish into green. In what I asked there of Nam, it's twice now. We go back to the first game and we go here to this previous game where he's been able to, in a sense, whether it was him initiating it and Chomik not being able to do anything, or Chomik, in a sense, playing into the color that he needed to close it out, he's been able to do a good job in the closing stages of establishing color control. And normally you can do that at the beginning, middle of the game. It's very difficult to do towards the end because normally somebody's got an answer for you in the closing stages.
Oh, for sure. And I feel like the key I've seen, because Chomik used his +4 for defensive in game 2, and that completely changed the trajectory, which ended up helping his momentum into winning game 2. And this game, it was very much the same thing. So basically, kind of like a little role reversal where Nam used the +4, because typically when you're using a +4 offensively, you're just wanting to get in like a hell of a good run, right? 3-card run or so. But this worked out Nam's favor too. Basically pulled exactly what Chomik did, but just at a little bit of a lower card rate. And when, once the counts started getting lower for their tables on both ends, and it just worked out in Nam's favor because, again, Chomik just did not have the answer there. And game set for card set of 13 here. Nam says, yeah, still playing into my strengths. So far using the history a bit and going with my gut instinct. So glad it worked out.
He's up 2-1 here in this series, and it looks like Chomik is going to start us in, as you said, the 13-card start for this one. Just kind of squirrel this away. We ended up having Chomik win on a 14, so he can't call back on that late in this series, and Nam just won on a 15-card full send. So if we go into a final Game 7 with him having the final homestand, he will not be able to call back on that. So a couple of maybe usual strats off the table on both sides here. And with this 2-1 advantage, this is a best of 7, DJ. Do we, if you're Nam and you're in a favorable position here with these 13 cards, do you start to consider that power play to maybe go up 3-1?
It's definitely a possibility here. It'll depend on the situation you are in, obviously. Based on your ammunition, that'll be a big factor. I think this is a good time to start using it, in my personal opinion, because I think that helped me with like winning my set earlier in the week, essentially speaking. But yeah, I think this would be a brilliant time to start using it, though. You want to have the momentum still swing into your favor, though, but things can always turn to a 180 real freaking fast here. But color switch here from Nam over to a blue 5 here. Chomik's just going to follow in suit. Just going to roll with the blues here. They're not feeling blue, but they're feeling pretty good right now. Nam definitely in this case, though, as Chomik does draw, though. So the good sign for Nam early on to really get an indicator that Chomik doesn't have any blue at the moment, or maybe he's saving up.
Yeah. It's a tough break there for Chomik in having to draw early in this one, because I would say this is a borderline must-win game for Chomik to draw this series back even, because this is going to be his final homestand for a couple of games. When we talk about that power play, you've got the opportunity here if, say, Nam doesn't use it here in this game, he's got a homestand coming up in the next one, and then he can potentially use it on the final homestand for Chomik in Game 6. So maybe kind of negate the advantage that Chomik would have on a homestand. So we'll see here, is Chomik going to initiate the swap over to red with the Ashley Wild?
Yeah, and before that, he had already done a quad of like basically a lot of action card play, doing a blue skip, green skip, switching the color, doing a green 2, ending up on a green 4. So Using that wild to its
Whoa.
advantage. Nam, though, will use the wild +4 again. Stalling out Chomik a little bit, giving him more cards on the table, though. And Chomik's just going to roll with a blue 8 here.
And Nam immediately the light. So this is interesting. He played the +4 into blue. Immediately, one turn later, goes into red.
He's definitely conniving of something here.
Yeah.
There's something about it that sniffs out a real long-term plan here.
I mean, one would have to wonder, did he just want to get that one outline blue and then get the color swap there, or does he have blue in reserve? Like we said, these two have played each other so much, maybe showing a different read. Maybe he does have blue and he doesn't want Chomik to know on the other side. There it is. Light switch over to blue. So he did have the blue in reserve, but he tried a different read, swapping it over into red. And now we're going to show a bunch of different reads here. Is that a quad 6 that I'm seeing there? Hold on.
I think that was.
No, that's it's a quad 6.
It's a quad 6.
So we've seen a trip 7. We've seen a 5-bagger 2, and now a quad 6.
We've seen a lot of quad plays basically. Like, we saw a quad skip. We've seen just quad numbers here. And now they're going to go into a draw city, it looks like, for a little bit here. At least both of them draw for now.
Yep. Top deck found by Chomik there with the red 9. Does that open up the door for Nam to be able to maybe light switch?
That's really been the name of the game. It's been just all these light switches. They've been both so aggressive with that.
Oh my gosh! I was gonna say, we were down to 4 cards each. They must have been missing a connector. Apparently Nam found the connector there on that draw. He had the +4
off the
top deck.
Wow, that's nuts. That's crazy. Look at that quad play. So +4, switch to blue, and by then it's pretty much game over. Look at this. Wild +4, blue +2, reverse, and then a blue 7. You couldn't name it any better. And off the draw, Chomik had Chomik really couldn't do much there.
There's nothing you can do in that situation.
You're just helpless.
Watch. Man. I mean, you look at the situation here. I mean, I'm trying to see if there would be any other. No, there would really have been no other options there for Nam outside of the +4. I mean, a blue 9 probably as well. But I mean, even with the power play, there's no connector there for the 3 remaining blues. That is an incredible top deck draw. And just like that, Nam will be heading into a homestand here. And he's got his power play still intact. 1 game a win from taking this series. So Chomik is definitely playing from behind going into game 5. I'll be honest, with everything right there, I don't really have any questions for either one of them here. I think we're just ready to head into this 5th game, as Rune already has that initiated here.
Oh yeah.
No 12, no 13, no 15 for Nam. Do we go maybe back to 14 here if you're Nam? Another opportunity at upper tier.
11.
No, we'll go 11. Okay.
I always feel like if you're in that realm, right? Let's say Chomik wins this, right? I feel you gotta take the risk and go for the lower card count. You have to. I feel you have to.
Especially when you got the power.
You got
right?
Because exactly. Because it's just been all high card counts to start. So I feel you gotta change it up a little bit. And this is just a me thing personally. You just gotta start doing a little bit lower and lower. Maybe see if nobody's got anything off the draw, basically.
Yeah, you're up 3-1. You got the power play. I'm with you. Do something a little bit. And we've seen a bunch of different reads here from Nam in these games. So yeah, change it up. Do something a little bit different. Maybe it's outside of your comfort zone, but you've got a couple of things to fall back on. It's a homestand. You've got a power play. If it doesn't work out, you're still 1 up going into a game 6. I'm with you. I think that a lower card start would have been interesting and would have been a viable option, but Nam goes lower than we've been. It's our lowest card start so far here at 11. So we'll call it upper mid tier. I don't know, lower high tier, whatever. Tomato.
Yeah. But he did have to draw off the bat. Nam had to draw immediately at the starting card, though. And that gives a little bit of a card advantage, but a color change from Nam immediately, though. And that's the thing I've noticed, is that every time Chomik seems to change the color, though, it just seems like Nam just has that perfect answer to the puzzle to try and just stop things that Chomik has in terms of his intentions when it comes to those color changes.
Chomik with the
And
ditto
and it
play
makes
there.
me wonder though, should Chomik really either one? Nom's done a great job at answering, but should Chomik be less aggressive with the color change and just roll with what he's got? Don't change the color too much.
Yeah, I mean, depends on what he's got in his hand. If he's got, we've seen
Oh,
this
for sure.
before, where you can have multiples of a certain number in different colors, so you have the opportunity for those light switches, even if there's light switches on the other side. But
Hmm.
yeah, if you don't have those said connectors, and with what we've seen here, Nam's having pretty much an answer for just about everything. Yeah, don't paint yourself into a corner, right? Uh, as we said, play to your strengths. Yes, you do want to show a different read to somebody you've played in the past, but play to your strengths. Don't put yourself in a box where you're then having to kind of scramble and try and find an out.
Yeah, exactly. You just have to kind of compose yourself a little bit too here. And speaking of, there's a color change here from Nom this time around. With the red 9, Chomik's just gonna roll with the numbers here though. But I gotta look at the table real fast though. It's gonna be pretty close. 6 and 5. Chomik with 5. Nom with 6 though. Though with that early draw from Nom himself, though we haven't seen any action cards, and well, Ryzer
Ooh.
said that it got immediately summoned. So Chomik's gonna go in the aggressive here though. And there's a
Oh,
power
Nam
play
with the power
defensive. Oh
play!
wait.
Nam with
Yeah,
the
that
power play there. That could be huge. He used it
stops the run.
defensively.
Interesting. Bro's like, bro, okay.
So that power play at least is flushed. It'll be interesting to ask here once this game is over if Chomik did have a finish. And
I think
did
he
maybe
did.
Nam sense
I
it?
think he did. But that ammunition from Chomik giving a nom, it gives
Yeah.
it right back. Wow, look at that.
5-bagger there, the double +2 into the double skip, ends it off in red. So that's 6 freshies headed in the way of Chomik, and just like that, with the power play, now Nam's at 5, Chomik's back to double digits.
Not a good place to be if you're Chomik, though, so you might have to maybe even use an action card near this realm, I would say. You got to use some action cards here. 5, I feel like 5's that dangerous territory, because you could get a potential run going, because we literally just saw a quintet run, basically.
Well, you called it. There's the ammo. Stacked +2s at
Yeah, have
least
to.
here.
You kind of have to here.
Oh, man, and now
I'm interested.
stacks
I'm
it with the
intrigued by the +4
+4.
though, but I think it might have been like a last resort kind of thing here, Seth, because you never know what Nom's got. You
I
don't
almost
already know what your opponent's got here, but I don't know about that +4 here, unless it was kind of unless he just didn't have anything else with that.
might have only had 2 +2s in red. So might have had to use
Perhaps.
the +4 to get over to a different color there. As now all of a sudden a slugfest here in what could be the middle portion of this game. With that though, look at how Chomik's been able to get himself back down to 4 after the stacked +2 from Nam. So he's back in that end zone area and working with some good number efficiency
But he got
here.
stopped.
Well,
He had to
I
draw
was gonna
though.
say,
He had to draw.
Yep.
Though Nom had to draw too, though, unless he's trying to get some ammunition out of the hat here. But
Top
unless he's
decker.
literally got no yellow, there's a yellow 4 here.
And
Chomik's got no yellow.
still
Chomik's got no
iced.
yellow. I don't think either of them have yellow. That's what it looks like.
Either that or, to your point, maybe Nam does have yellow, but he's willing to draw back as long as Chomik does. He doesn't want to open up the door
Yeah, because he
with a
knows
number for a light switch.
Chomik's got no yellow, so probably drawing doesn't want to change the color just yet. I think Chomik's hoping for just a god tier yellow card or just a color change.
Interesting if that is the case, because you would think with all the scenario that we talked about here going into this game, you would think Nam would be on the full offensive, but so far we've seen him play full defense here, even up to that power play being played defensively.
Yeah, he's been doing a really good job defensively. It ends up being like a whole on counterattack essentially, and that's the cool part about how Nam's playstyle is. It just kind of seems like a whole counter attack kind of approach. Let's see, red 4 here. Now we can see this game of chess starting to really commence here.
Well, Nam with the initiation
Chomik's got an
over
answer.
into red, but he had drawn Chomik back to double digits, so now I think he feels comfortable with the
Now
color
he feels
swap.
comfy. Yeah, good. That's a good point. Now they can both kind of go full on offensive here. Chomik's got a little. Oh, I thought he had a run going on. It looked like by how long he typed, it looked like a run waiting to happen. But green 3 though will color change quite fast. Green 7.
So now we're also going to have to keep an eye here if we end up seeing Chomik get back down towards that red zone area. If Nam was holding yellow in reserve, he could have that as a callback to maybe try and ice Chomik out again. I would be shocked if Chomik drew back and saved some yellow, but then again, he might have been able to do that as well. So we'll see as we get closer here if Nam does call back to the yellow again.
Double play here, blue reverse to a blue 2, back to a blue 2 in this case.
Ooh, Chomik with the
Plus 2 though.
there. We've seen a lot of call and response here on these plus 2s with the ammo gained off of especially the stack plus 2s. Could be risky here, but with the double play now gets himself down to 4.
Yep, Nam's got 13 cards. I bet a good wad of them are action cards here. So let's see what Nam's got.
Doesn't
No
have the
power play
yet anymore. Yeah. Oh, he'll bring it over to red. Okay.
Gonna try it. Just gonna sniff out. See, it's just a sniff here.
Chomik can play.
Chomik bit. I'm
Chomik
wondering
down to 3.
if Nam could have went to yellow, unless he had no yellows. That's probably what it is too, though. Probably no yellows because they were both isolated on the yellows here, but it didn't seem like anything was there. But it looks like Nam's gonna go for some action card usage here. That looks like a long typing based on how long he's waiting, maybe hesitating a little bit. Could be a defensive play here to try and draw the game even further.
Could
Yeah,
look
because
maybe
Nam's
for
taking
a
his time.
into yellow potentially. Let's see.
That's what I'm thinking. It's gotta be a color change here. I feel do some action card play and then perhaps a use of yellow or just something to really stall the run out.
Now, of course, it's going
A
to depend
potential
here
run.
on Nam's play, but you got to think too with having his power play flush, that maybe opens up options for Chomik. He'll have a homestand coming up here in the next game if we get there. So if he needs a connector right now with 3 cards, he could maybe think about using his power play to draw this series up 3-2 with a homestand looming on the horizon.
Oh, perhaps so. Nam's taking his sweet time though.
He is.
Yeah, had to think a little bit. I think he had to think a little bit. Probably didn't want to use the action cards immediately. So I think he's just gonna play it patient and maybe hope to see if Chomik runs dry at all. Blue wild though. So we got a good indicator of what Chomik's got for his last 2 cards, unless he's got something else in the hat though. But I think it's a pretty good indicator on what Chomik's got left here. Nam's got to answer this real fast. Got to probably use a +4 here.
Yep,
there it is. Got flushed. I figured he had one in his arsenal. And that will bring Chomik back even more, though. I think you're starting to kind of see Chomik start to lose a little bit of patience here. I think the desperation is really starting to show and how the playstyle's changed a little bit. I mean, you kind of have to, though, when you're down by like 2 games, essentially. So it's kind of like a what do you got to lose kind of mentality.
Oh, look at that.
Back to a blue wild, though.
Yeah.
Wow. He had 2 wilds in his cards.
But this is interesting because Nam was iced out in red. He brings it back to blue, does
and I feel like Nam's got action cards on him still.
That's what I'm wondering, right?
Because he's typing along again. Yep, there it is.
He brings it back to yellow.
Back to yellow.
He'll end it on the reverse. He'll draw on the reverse. But
Interesting.
He brings it back to yellow nonetheless.
Real question is,
Ooh, look at this! Chomik was able to play off the reverse. He gets it back to blue.
The reverse. That's crazy. I was wondering if Nam had run out of yellow. That's why he had to draw, which allows this open window for Chomik to strike and go back to blue, because that matched perfectly for Chomik there, Seth.
Has Nam used all his ammunition here now, trying that wraparound over to yellow? Is this the opportunity that Chomik needs where Nam may not have an answer back and he can maybe finish this out in blue? He's been hit with a +2. He's been hit with a +4, but he's managed to always seem to get it back to that color. down to 3. Does he have the cards? Does he have maybe the connector he needs with a power play? Do we see it right here, right now?
Oh, we'll see. We'll see. Chomik's thinking about it right now. Got to think real carefully here.
Got to think at this point, both these guys, we had that long pause there for
He had a
Nam. They
+4
must
to a
have been looking
green.
over the card history. This might be it. No,
Well, let's
it's
see.
not.
Chomik's gonna save the power play here.
Ooh.
Unless it might be one of those bluffs. It could be a bluff too, Seth. Because he may be. Oh yeah, back to red.
Oh,
So
yeah.
right there it is.
I mean, you were given 4 freshies there.
And he had nothing.
To Nam. Leaving it open, and he
Chomik's
gets it
got
over
no
to red,
answer.
leaves it open on the skip. Nam now has maybe a possibility here of being able. Nope, they're both
Got
gonna be
no
iced
answer
out in
there.
red.
Serving as a sacrificial lamb, perhaps here. See, they both just have to go a draw city here.
Chomik praying for a little Nam luck from the last game, hoping for a top decker that'll help him be able to get the connection he needs. I don't think he'd turn down another +4.
Yeah, I think Chomik either had that one green left, or it could have been a bluff. But I feel like if he had that green left, though, he would have used the power play. I think he would have used it.
Yeah,
just to make sure you just kept it close. So I think it was just a bluff, just to see maybe to really gamble on a number or a color.
Chomik says, thank you, DJ, as he'll cap off that skip with the red 5. Nam still iced out. Number efficiency with the ALP green 5 will get Chomik at least a little bit of breathing space, and Nam answers right back with the light switch.
And that stalls out Chomik here, back to yellow here, and he's going to draw 2, so it just seems like yellow's kind of the most rare card for both ends here, so they're both having to draw quite a bit of cards right now. They're going to go into draw city, it looks like, till someone's going to strike first here. But right now, yeah, they're just going to both kind of take their time, pace themselves again here. Nam with 15 cards, though, to Chomik's 7 and counting, obviously.
See what we've got as far as ammo right now. We still have both the +2s in green, but we have used all of the wild +4s, and only one regular wild is out there. So there's not a whole heck of a lot in terms of ammunition available to either of these guys. Got some reverses still out there. Majority of the skips have been used. So now it's really just coming down to number and color efficiency here.
They've hit anything but gold in terms of the color yellow.
We're also at 9 cards remaining in the deck, so we could be in for a reshuffle.
A whole reshuffle indeed. So it's been a very fun game so far here, Seth. A lot of twists and turns this matchup's had so far. I know it seems very one-sided, but Chomik's put a very, very good fight in this game so far.
Yeah, he has. And in this series as well. I mean, you can go back to 2 of these games, and it's been either just maybe a little bit lacking on the ammunition on one side, or just the fact that we've seen Nam be able to, late in the games, establish the color that he needs, and unfortunately Chomik not being able to have an answer back, but they both have answer backs for each other here in this one, as it looks very likely, well, we will run into red, so we're right on the precipice of a card reshuffle. 6 cards remaining in the deck, but with the light switch, we may be able to run for a bit here. Well, as soon as I say
yellow.
that, we're back into the yellow. So, and
back
then
to
we're
red.
Right back to red. Okay.
It's the essence of no you.
Yeah.
Shown in 4K, clearly.
Well, if Nam has a yellow 2 here for an answer back, that's an illegal hand, so we're not going to see that, as he'll just run here in red with the 6. And
Chomik having to draw, though.
Wow.
No red for Chomik, maybe?
After all that drawing back, only 1 red. Well, 2 reds.
And he goes with the blue, though, but that's a good litmus test here. Nam's going to go back to red, answers right back with the color change. And I think that proves the answer. Chomik's got no red.
And now Nam also iced out on red, potentially.
I think they're just going to have them draw.
Yeah.
Keep going with the draws here. I think that was kind of the intention, just to stall both of them. Stall Chomik out.
For all that ammo to come back.
Stalls himself out, yeah. I think they're waiting for that reshuffle, maybe. I think they might have already done it, though.
Yeah,
Is it
either
close?
it's happened now or it'll happen on the next. I think it's happened now.
Usually there's the indicator, right? Would there be an indicator for it? Silly question to ask.
I'm honestly not sure. We've gotten close to a reshuffle in one of the games that I commentated, but we didn't quite get there.
Oh, Rune says one more
Alright,
draw.
there we
Okay.
go.
Thank you. Thank you for
Rune
that.
coming in clutch with the answer there.
What a G.
So it would be Nam that would have the last draw there. And that would have him at 19, Chomik at 12 with the deck reshuffle.
Ewy, says Chomik. It's always when you see these guys, they talk and chat like this. It gives them such a ounce of personality, right?
Yes.
You get to see parts of their personality. And Chomik's just very, very wacky. I can already get the vibe off of that. Joey's having a good time. Both of these guys love playing, just love good vibes, and that's what we really like to see.
Well, for those that are
Having some fun
here,
with it.
Hope that you're enjoying it too. You're tuned into our longest game so far of this series as we are approaching 20 minutes in this game 5. Nam trying to close out this series. He's already used his power play, but he is up 3-1, looking to move into the Toxic 32, keep his hopes for a Super League berth alive. Chomik trying to get this series at least close back to even, trying to get one back here on the road and make it a 3-2 game. Maybe keep his power play in reserve if he's able to come out on top in this one, as he'll have the next homestand. Nam's still just thinking here. I mean, I'm sure they're scanning over the card history and whatnot, planning for anything. But just remind everybody, later on this evening, 2 more stream games going to be coming your way, both in the bunker region. First one will be at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as we'll have number 4 seed KT taking on the number 13 seed Andreas Allen. And then at 9 o'clock tonight, we cap it off with number 5 seed William Brock taking on number 12 seed Clay Wolf. That's still to come here into the late evening to late night hours here, as here we go. Looks like we're going to go into the yellow 7, draw back from Chomik. There is the reshuffle, and now all that ammunition that we talked about that was off the table, it's now back in play and inside of the deck.
This will be very interesting to see what they get off the draw here now. Now they probably should have some yellows this time around, we would think. So yeah, it looks like that's going to be the answer right now here. So Chomik's going to roll with the 2, Nam with the 3 following up. So just going to go up 1.
So we know that somewhere dispersed into these 2 hands are both of the green +2s. Those were not played during the course of that first deck before the reshuffle. So wait to see when those make an emergence here. May see them maybe around right now as we get the swap over into green courtesy of Nam.
Kind of surprised Nam with the color change, unless he had no yellows himself. Chomik's had to draw out those yellows a lot in this game, though.
Gonna run in green here for a while. Obviously this late in the game, you wouldn't necessarily think of a color as Pandora's box, but we haven't been in blue for quite a while. We were there for a brief moment, had an immediate light switch back. Gotta think that's probably gotta be the breakout color right now, maybe on both sides.
Oh, I agree with that. I think you're right. It's been a hot minute, so we'll just see how when that will come into play here. Everybody's just kind of rolling with what they got. They just kind of rolling with the numbers. That reshuffle, like you said, I mean, that should be a wild card in and of itself here. Chomik's going to roll with a green 4 here. Let's see what Nam's got.
Yeah, double play. So there was one of those green +2s. Still
Yep.
at least one more out there in one of these 2 hands. And Rune coming in here with our check there. We have eclipsed the 20-minute mark here in this 5th game. There's the second green +2. So both of them now out. So unless we draw back, all the +2s are gone.
Very interesting to use your +2s this early, because based on how much they've got, like, that's a lot of ammunition you're giving to Nam to just really just point the middle finger at you with ammunition right back.
Yep, I do agree, especially if we end up seeing Chomik continue to be able to run in green. If he's iced out in green here, then it kind of makes sense, I guess, to use them because you're not going to have connectors with the other 6+2s
Reverse.
gone. Okay, so there's the reverse. He'll use it for the light
Double
switch.
reverse.
Okay, so I guess we can assume that was his last green.
Now it's blue. Now it's blue. You talked about, Seth, right? We hadn't been to it for a while. Now we're back into it now. So
Yep. So I
let's
guess
see.
maybe the +2s make sense in playing them here because you weren't going to be able to find connectors for them if that indeed that green reverse
That's
was
probably
his
what it
last
was.
green.
Let's see. I feel like Nam. Will you play defensively again? Will you keep the run stalled? Chomik's at 4 cards. Nam's at 15 right now. You might have to play defensive again. I think that's what you might have to do here. I think Nam's probably going to think that. No, actually rolls with a blue 3 here. Is this a golden opportunity for Chomik? Blue 4, though, still going to roll numbers here, so maybe saving up some action cards at the end. I mean, what else do you have to do?
I mean,
Red 4, though.
Cards? I mean, our +2s
That's true.
are gone. You know, unless we draw back,
Chomik's
which
got
now
nothing.
Chomik is going to
Color
do.
change helped.
You know, aside from color change, that's what I was going to say. I think there's one more wild that's still there. And then we've got a couple more reverses and skips, but the +2s are completely gone, outside of maybe drawing some of them back. The wild +4s were completely gone, so outside of number efficiency, I don't think there really was anything defensive that Nam was able to do.
Well, it did stall them. It did stall Chomik out a little bit here at the green, but he does have a green right back here at a green 6. Having to draw for at least a turn there. Though Nam had to draw a couple times himself as a result.
Let's see if Nam has an answer, maybe with number efficiency, to try and ice Chomik out again. Chomik down to 3 cards. He does have that power play available if he needed it here as well for a connector to try and draw this series close at 3-2. Leaves
Double play.
Open on the skip.
On the skip, though. But Chomik had to draw.
Yeah. Doesn't have a green to cap it off. KT is absolutely correct. Putting on a clinic for sure here. I mean, I'd have to check.
Both stalled out the green
here. But this game itself might actually have gone longer than our previous 4 games combined.
I think I was just meant to commentate a long game like this. I always feel like every time I'm in the booth, it's always going to be like these kind of games that are always so long. But that's what makes it so fun, though, because you never know what happens. And they're going to go into a draw city here, Seth, here. They're just still stuck on the skip here. So they've got no answer for the money color. But right as I say that, Chomik immediately gets a red skip. Then a red 2 followed up. So I always seem to just jinx it. So right as I think it's just going to end, the run ends. And then it's just, oh, here it is.
There you go. See, you're getting called out. KT says it's your fault. The reshuffle, it's rare to see it in this era. It's always DJ. He always delivers bangers on stream.
I think it's a calling. I think it's a calling.
It is.
I think it's a calling that I should just commentate more often than not. That's literally what it is. All right, color change again to yellow. Initiated by Chomik here. They're just going to roll with the number efficiency right now. Y1 from Nam, followed by a Y4 from Chomik here. And Nam is just going to see, will he go for the numbers again? Draws this time, though. Chomik's got 4 in contrast to Nam's 16 here. I don't think, like you said, Seth, I don't know if Chomik's got enough action cards in his arsenal, because he probably would have used them by now.
Yeah,
or maybe they're just in the wrong color. That's the other thing, too.
Neither of them do. We have been into quite
they're
a couple
both drawing.
of lengthy drawbacks here since the reshuffle, but you know, we're talking, I don't know exactly how many cards there are in a full Uno deck, but you gotta think that those action cards are awfully spaced out.
Color change, followed by another color change. It's gone crazy on both ends. They both just radically love changing the color here.
Nam finds
red
the
one,
ice
though.
out in red.
But back to blue?
Chomik gets it back
to
green.
Blue.
Nam into green. Again, so with everything here, is it only a one-color hand right now for Chomik, all blue?
It could be. It actually. Well, we had green 9 there. That's probably from top deck, I would think. Double play here, green skip. Actually, no, he drew. I thought it was a double play, but he actually skipped and then drew. Wow, ending on the skip again.
Huh. Interesting. Well, Nam has definitely been doing a good job as far as the number efficiency to ice him out. Yeah, my bad, KT. I was looking at the DM on the wrong PC. Nam with the red +4 here, so he'll at least he found a top deck with the +4. Gonna draw Chomik back again. And even with the initiation over into red, still iced out.
Oh,
Oh,
look
hold
at this
on.
play. Look at this play here.
Double reverse into the +2, establishes it back
Into
into
yellow.
And just like that, Nam, who was up in the double digits for a good portion of this
Closed
game,
it down.
finally now starts to slim down to 9.
Narrowing the gap. Wild to blue here.
This is the color that Chomik seemed to want to keep getting
I
back
think
to.
Chomik. Let's see if Chomik sniffs it. Does he fall through? Blue 6. So Nam knows Chomik's got blue in his arsenal. Will you change the color is the real question. Could
Again,
you change the color?
Well, we've seen a couple of games where Nam has suckered Chomik in to a color that Chomik needed, but also Nam has needed. Is this the same type of thing here? Again, doesn't
Wild
matter.
+4 to green.
Doesn't matter.
Green
+4
9.
going to negate that strategy if indeed that was the play there from Nam.
Swapping over to red. Chomik's just gonna fall through with it. Double play here from Nam. Red +2 to a red 6. And then just another color change right back to green.
Down to 2 for Chomik.
4 now, I think, because of the. It's 4 now. The +2.
Oh, no, you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, interesting, too, that I don't know exactly how many cards we drew back there since the reshuffle, but they both were able to find a +4. Oh, okay, well, Nam found 2 of them.
Just dragging this along.
Goodness.
Back to blue.
Who
Wild
reshuffled
+4
this
is going
deck? 3 of them
crazy.
up in like the first 20 cards.
And then back to yellow. It's just the amount of color changes this game has had, or really just this series, is just absolutely crazy. It's just it always just seems like it's just back to back to just consecutive color changes over and over and over. Like usually I feel like with color changes, you swap to one color, they roll around with it for a little bit, right? Maybe 2-3 turns, and then they switch the color. But now it's just I've just been seeing this consecutively like 4 times in a row. Absolutely nuts to see how these two play.
Total of 96 color changes between the two of them here so far in this series. 52 from Nam, 44 from Chomik. It has, to your point, just been back and forth with the number efficiency and the light switches. Trips play there from Nam. Swaps it over into red. Nam down to 2 there with the red 7. Chomik's got to start thinking here because Nam is 2 cards away from taking the series.
Oh, he's got an Uno here. Change the color to blue.
Boy.
Does Nam have a blue left? Or does Chomik have anything to change? He draws.
He's iced in
I think
blue.
He's iced in blue. Is this it? Is this the dagger? Does Nam have the final say in this?
To take the series, to move on to the Toxic 32. Nam looking to end it out in the color that Chomik kept trying to get it back to so many times this game. And there it is. Ends on his own card there. The Nam blue 4 sends Nam to the next round.
A 30-minute
an
game
hour
5.
Of play.
What a fight from Chomik. I know the series won't really indicate and live to tell the tale, but Chomik had a very, very good fight in game 5.
Yeah, Man, what a comeback there from Nam. He was at 21 cards, as Nick points out, and was able to come back. And now it will be him versus Abian in
That
the
should be a good
next
matchup.
round. Absolutely. I don't know if those two have a history or not, but these two definitely did coming into this one. And I think that 30-minute endurance battle that we just saw definitely indicated that they kind of know each other pretty well.
Oh, for sure. That was a great matchup, though. I know. Like I said, I know Chomik got absolutely beaten, but that game 5, Seth, holy Toledo, that
Yeah.
was one hell of a game 5 we've seen. A lot of defensive plays. I actually kind of thought that Chomik maybe could have done like a defensive power play, but I think he was just hoping that Nam that was like, just kind of a bluff, right? That Nam just didn't have any blue left after that Uno. It just didn't end up working out there, and it just was meant to be Nam's kind of game. Family buff might have kicked in there actually, so for all we know, the family might have helped the morale quite a lot. Gives you a little bit of an advantage maybe. But man, what a play! What a play! Great playing on both ends though. Nam just absolutely great with the counterattacks, and then just able to get the run at the very end. And Chomik says there are so many times I could have won if I just used that power play.
Oh, well, that literally was what I was just about to ask him. I was going to ask him about possibly using the power play there. Um, he had so many times there. Boy. I mean, I got to wonder back there towards before we even started considering the reshuffle, there was a point I think he was down to either 2 or 3 cards, and Nam hit him with the +4. Would that have maybe been one of the opportunities there very early on in this series and in this game that he maybe could have utilized the power play there? And that would have, I believe, I think that would have been after Nam had used his power play.
Or it's just more, I guess, more like if because there was that once Nam used that defensive power play. I'm wondering if he just Chomik just wrote down the whole run in, maybe he would have won that set. Who knows? Because I think that power play that when Nam used it defensively, that really just I think that kind of really put a dagger on Chomik's run there. That pretty much put the dagger on his run. Because he was like, bro, okay after that. So I think that really hampered the that set for him.
Yeah. See, Nam said 21 cards near a reshuffle. Gonna make sure that's not an issue first. Yeah, I don't remember. I think that the most you can draw back is 20. I don't know what the ruling is on that one, but we'll let those
Either
powers
way,
that
it's a lot
be
of
know.
cards.
It's a lot of cards.
It's a
for
lot of
sure.
cards.
Definitely is. We'll find out here. Nam's thoughts on playing Abian in the next round. This is very tough. Had to constantly check the history and plan every move like it was my last. With the hand I knew the power play was necessary. Turned the game on its head for sure. And so
Yeah, I
Nam,
had a feeling.
yep, so he did have the finish there on that power play. It's obviously game 5, but in I know hindsight's 2020 here as well, DJ, but I mean, if Chomik had used the power play there on that run to the finish, we could be talking about an entirely different series here. Do you think that's going to be a moment he'll probably kind of run back there and something that may end up having him in future series and future tournaments maybe think about using the power play a little bit earlier on in a series if he's got a situation like that?
I think that would be something he'll definitely look back on. I've been there before with things like that where you could have iced it, but you just feel like, oh, I could probably use that power play at like a different moment, right? But I feel with situations like these, it's kind of like you kind of have to, right? What else do you have to lose? If you know you can win the set by any means possible, I'd say just take that power play real quick. It might bite you at the end, but just to prolong it even helps.
Yeah. And especially too, I mean, we'll eventually be as we draw closer towards the end of this tournament and everything. We'll be seeing games go into best of 9s. We'll see best of 11s as well near the very closing stages. Best of 7s, they happen so fast, and I think, and I'm guilty of this myself, where a lot of people will be of the mindset that, I want to hold on to that power play till game 5, game 6, game 7. There's not a guarantee you're going to get to that point, and while strike while the iron's hot. If you've got an opportunity there, like Chomik did, where I think it would have been a 7-bagger, I think, at that time, use the power play,
Oh
be
yeah.
able to get one of those games right there, and not allow the power play on the other side to stall your momentum and potentially take you out of even winning what was going to be an absolutely winnable game. I think a lot of people kind of maybe have to put that into their repertoire now, have to kind of maybe make a bit of adjustment in when is the right time to use that power play. And while you may think in your gut it's a little too early, it may not be.
I feel like with the games of 7, right? You'd have to use it probably, I'd say, around like the games 3 or 4 even, just to make sure. But I've never seen anyone use it as early as maybe game 1. Game 2, I would say it would depend, but
I've seen it a
I
couple
feel like
times, game 2.
usually 1 and 2 are like you kind of see things through, right? And then 3 and 4, this is for sets of 7 in this case, right? So I feel like 3 and 4, that's probably like the good time for you to start using it.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. Well, it was a heck of a series nonetheless. Albion now knows who he is going to be facing here in the zombie region in the Toxic 32, as Nam will be moving on. It's going to be a 4 versus 5 seed there in that battle. That should be good. And of course, we've got Toaster Guy and Sean Arndt that are going to be in the zombie region as well. Their game already established in terms of them facing off against each other. So looking forward to that one. Again, as mentioned, this is the first of 3 streamed games that you'll see here today, as we'll head into the evening hours for the final 2, both in the bunker region. 6:30 p.m., you'll see KT versus Andreas Allen. And then at 9 o'clock prime time, it'll be William Brock and Clay Wolf to close out this Friday. My thanks to DJ for joining me here on commentary on a very early Friday morning. Thanks to Rune for doing the referee duties here today. And congratulations once again to Nam, as he will move on here in Apocalyptic April, getting ready to take on Abion in T5 of the 2025 MRE Uno Tournament. Super League may be on the horizon for Nam. We'll have to wait and see as we head a little bit further into this series. So thank you all for tuning into our coverage here today. We'll see you guys later on this evening at 6:30 for the continuation of today's streamed games here for the MRE Uno Tournament here on YouTube. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you later on tonight.
This has been a presentation of MRE Uno Division 1.